There he is. He says he's nervous, but he's Brian Kirk.
Nice oh
he's the lead man, front man, Brian Kirk and the Jirks. Guitar solos, he does it all. How you doing?
You have to read that?
Oh, come on, stop.
Come on. Wouldn't it come right off the top of your head?
It should have.
Yeah, it should have.
Well, Not that I haven't seen you perform.
I know. I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
What do you mean?
You being at Jenkinson's, you mean?
Yeah. It was a family event,
Do you want to bring it up? It was a family event. You had your kids. You had a whole orphanage there.
It was a beautiful Saturday at the Jersey Shore at Jenkinson's in Point Pleasant. Mm-hmm. When did you start this whole thing?
This disaster of mine that I'm on, I started early 90s.
Why?
Early 90s solo acoustic.
Was it just,
it was just me for about 3 years until a drunken bass player and a drunken drummer came in and said, we could play behind you. And I was like, I don't really need a band. I don't want to. No, they were like, no, let's try it. They came one time and it just clicked. And from then it's been a bunch of different guys for almost 25 years.
Where'd you grow up?
Red Bank, Middletown. Well, Middletown actually. But
a lot of music down there.
Well, yes.
Well, Springsteen.
Well, Springsteen.
Was
he?
The
man.
I mean, was he a big influence for you?
Enormous. It was him and John Lennon. I mean,
wow,
that was.
Wow, that's.
No, they're not that different. If you
talk about that.
Well, because I mean, just passionate music. Something that you connect to. Just with Springsteen, like.
What does Springsteen mean to you?
Well, John Lennon, an opening line would be, "Words are flowing out like endless rain." That's just, Springsteen, screen door slams, Mary's dress waves. The picture of it. That's why they're not that far apart. I mean, it's just the poetry of it behind the great melodies. Forget it. Just classic.
When you were a kid, was music in your life?
Oh yeah, my dad had played with Sinatra at one point.
Get out of here.
Had a big band in the 40s.
Where was all this?
In Jersey City. Irish Catholic family from Jersey City.
So Sinatra's in Hoboken.
Sinatra's in Hoboken.
Your dad's in Jersey City.
My dad's in Jersey City, and at the time, because big bands were 30 people, they didn't go to a club like we did. We didn't pick up our amplifiers and go somewhere. So the singers went around to the bands. So the bands would play the standards, and Dinah Shore would come, and Sinatra, and pictures of this. It's very cool. Very cool.
So did you start playing as a kid?
I started playing, no. I was more of a football guy, and I broke my collarbone playing football. And my arm was stuck like this, and my dad got me a guitar. And I just,
Is that really how it started? Because that's a good story.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. That's how it started. My dad got me a guitar, and that's how I started playing. Now, he wasn't a guitar player, but my brother was. My older brother was. So there was music throughout the house constantly. And there was always debates of, by the time rock came on, my older brothers and sisters, talking about, Springsteen or Jackson Brown and Billy Joel and the merits of that between Sinatra and Dean Martin and, those kind of debates
but
around
I
my
gotta
house.
say this, for those who have been fortunate enough to see you, by the way, you're big at the Jersey Shore.
Huge.
Okay, tell the
in
places.
In a 2-block radius of Seabright. Otherwise, completely unknown.
That's not true. Tell folks where at the Jersey Shore.
Well, it was Donovan's Reef, God rest its soul, got wiped out in Sandy. That's the question I get asked most of all, especially by your cameraman over there.
Yeah, because he wants to go back.
He wants to go back to Donovan's.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to go back to Donovan's to drink.
Yeah, and I'll hear you. But what about where I saw you at Jenkinson's? Is that a regular?
That's a regular thing during the summer.
Saturdays.
Saturday afternoons during the summer. But we also play Just Jakes in Montclair. We just sold out BB King's in Times Square.
Did you really?
Yes. Does that impress you?
That's very impressive.
Very impressive. I'm very impressive.
Well, here's the thing I'm curious about. It's one thing to talk about the guitar with the arm.
The guitar with the arm?
The whole thing. But the other thing I'm impressed by is watching you on stage. You are an amazing performer.
Ah, thank you.
You have
That's nice to
tremendous energy, and you connect with people on a very personal level. Where did that whole ability to feel so confident and comfortable on stage come from?
An insecurity, I would imagine. I'm not kidding you. It's an insecurity of that it's not enough, it was never enough for me to play music at people. Watch me play whatever. Watch me play Thunder Road. It's not, I love jokes. I love stand-up comedian, so I try to incorporate that. I try to just, make it like it's my living room. And everybody's there in my living room. What do you want to hear? We make fun of one another. It goes on. So what that does, and I don't do it consciously, but it just happens, is that it just connects the audience with the band, and it just becomes.
Maybe it's not conscious.
I don't think I actively think of that. It's the thought process in my head that goes, okay, I've got to, all right, what does this crowd want? And then let's read this. Just think people are people, no matter where you play. And then you're up there and you're doing your thing, and it just works.
I'm going to ask you about something that Southside Johnny said. You guys were on the shoot.
Still sounds great, that man.
He's the best. We had him at, these guys, we did the NJ Pack shoot. We were shooting him at NJ Pack. And I said, what about the Jersey sound? And he said, no, it's not a Jersey sound. Jim, what did he say? He called it Jersey. He said the Jersey soul. He said, there's something about Jersey soul. I said, what do you mean by that? He goes, there is. Trust me on this. Do you think there's something about a Jersey soul?
A Jersey soul.
You know what the heck he's talking about? Or is it just Southside?
I never know what he's talking about. But if there's
if the sound soul,
what it sounds
is
to
it?
me initially is that it's just you go back to that music. Whether it was, let's go back to Southside. You listen to Southside's early records; they're still great. So soul music to me is something that hits you internally and will be it will be going on for, I can't think of the word now, going on forever. It will be.
But
eternal.
is it a Jersey thing at all? Do you think there's anything about Jersey
because
music?
Van Morrison had it. The Stones had it. The Beatles had it. I mean, but maybe in a different sense. I think the Jersey soul thing. They took soul music. Stuff that, now this, I didn't realize it until my introduction into Jersey music and Bruce and Southside and all those guys. Then I started listening to what they were listening to, which was Van Morrison. Van Morrison was listening to Jackie Wilson. And those kind of horn things in the midnight hour and things like that, where you could hear the progression of where it got to the Jersey soul sound, as Southside says.
This doesn't get old for you, does it?
Oh my God, no. Never.
Why?
I don't know. It's just fun.
So people say
it should always be fun, though. That's why it probably doesn't get old. It shouldn't be about. I don't get on my guys about a bad lead in E minor. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Well, nobody. We're not because we're not a jazz group. We're not people. It's music has different levels, and in one level, if it's a jazz club and you're listening to incredible jazz stuff, you look for the precision of it. And if you're a saloon singer and a bar guy like me, the object is above everything to create a vibe, and you create a vibe and have fun. And ultimately, I said to the guys, I want you looking at your shoes. Just have some fun. That's all I want.
What do you mean they're looking at the shoes?
Well, Nirvana was like that. They would play like it, and Nirvana got over it because their songs were so amazing. But, it wasn't about giving the people a show.
It's about them,
to me,
isn't it?
it's about giving people a show. You should always give them a show.
Yeah.
My guys roll their eyes before I say, come on, guys, let's give them a show.
You believe this stuff.
Of course I do.
You're not even like having to pump yourself up. You live it, you believe it every day.
Rock and roll, baby.
I got to ask you this one.
Go ahead.
Number one leadership lesson you have learned in all the years that you have been a band leader is?
So I own a telephone company during the day, right? And I installed a phone system for a Jewish jeweler in Homedale, New Jersey. He said to me, he goes, you know what? I asked him how he became so successful at a line of jewelry stores. He said, I allow a little theft. And what he meant by that, I knew what he meant right away. As a leader, you don't worry about the little minutia of all this. I see guys get so involved in, they worry about this and that. When you look at the gestalt of things, the overall vibe, like getting back to our original question. As a leader, my leadership abilities excel when there's a vibe in the audience. And that's where my goal comes as being a leader.
Sometimes it's not those little things that we
It's
obsess
never
over.
the little things.
I got to remember
You don't
that.
sweat them.
I got to remember that.
Allow a little theft, Steve.
I wish my staff wasn't listening to you right now, because it just created problems for all
Sorry.
of us. No, that's all right. It's too late. You said it. It's on the air. Brian Kirk, guitar, vocals, all that with Brian
All
Kirk.
that.
But he's more importantly, he's a
part.
leader, and he's great, and he's one of the best performers I've ever seen. We'll be right back right after this.
You never date yourself.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by TD Bank, Bergen Community College, New Jersey Council of County Colleges, New Jersey Natural Gas, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, New Jersey Sharing Network, and by the law firm of Gibbons, P.C. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.